Hey there guys, this is Reckles with WTBGold, and today I wanted to show you guys how to make gold. Like, not a specific route to farm, not a dungeon guide or a material farming spot, but how do these professional gold makers and YouTubers make millions and millions of gold each month? After implementing this, you should be able to buy any gear or any mount that Blizz comes out with, and buying a year's worth of WoW tokens will just be pocket change.
Oi, Dave here. I've heard this clickbait BS nonsense 100 times. Can you get to the point?
Hi, Dave. Didn't know we were gonna add new characters to this channel today. Also, is that an Australian or a British accent?
Don't you worry about what I am, mate. Just answer me questions.
Oh, I get it. You're literally the personification of a straw man argument.
Oi, maybe. But at least I'm not using the troll model.
All right, no, you're right, Dave. This could have been much lazier filmmaking. Okay, so experienced gold makers who subscribe to the channel have been asking for a Tradeskillmaster setup video for a long time. Problem with that is that a comprehensive guide for that is incredibly boring. So I need to make it exciting, but also there are new subscribers or new players who are honestly intimidated by the auction house. So if I did a setup video, I'd also have to cover gold making mindset and the basics of gold making as well. So people can realize just how easy it is to earn 10,000 gold a day or 10,000 gold a week, 500,000, 1,000,000 gold a week.
Oi, you talk too much, mate. Hurry it up.
All right. Fine, Dave. Let's do this, guy. So, if you just installed the game, or you know someone who's pretty new, here's the very, very basic concept of making gold. Sell things for more than it takes you to get them. There's a couple ways to do this, and honestly, they kind of flow together. The cheapest way, if you're just starting out, is by farming raw materials. Things like ore and herbs and cloth and enchanting mats. Then, any leftovers you have can be used to craft stuff. So you'd turn 1,000 gold worth of materials, just extra stuff, into a 2,000 gold chest piece. Once you have a little bit of a bankroll from that, and you're familiar with the ebb and the flow of your server's materials markets, you can start to reinvest in cheap stuff that then you repost on, usually it's Tuesday to Thursday. You buy low and you sell high. Although honestly, sell high doesn't really work. You want to sell medium. Eventually, you're not flipping cheap stuff anymore, but you're flipping TCG mounts that sell for 100,000 or 1,000,000 gold each. Also, each expansion kind of has its own pop gold making method that all the YouTubers latch onto. Legion is crazy about ore and herb farming. Kata was all about old raids. Mop was all about pets and spirits of harmony. Warlords was all about raw gold farms with your garrison and potion of luck, along with the rise of legit transmog markets.
Oi!
Alright, we're doing this again.
Well, it's great that you can make gold on your server, but my server sucks. So tell me what works for me or I'm gonna unsubscribe.
All right. Listen, you went a little Texan there. There aren't any good or bad economies. They're all just different. On high pop, you have a lot more people selling gathering materials, so the prices drop as they approach perfect competition. But that population to price inverse log means there's more real profit available for crafting professions, and since the demand is so high, you can sell a lot more.
Oi, don't give me that acorn mumbo jumbo.
You asked!
I didn't ask for nothing.
Okay, you may not have literally asked, but...
Right. Can't believe I'm listening to a guy who thinks transmog is worthwhile.
What? Of course transmog is worthwhile. I sell hundreds of thousands
Yeah,
of...
you might post a lot of transmog, but that don't mean it sells. Pics or it didn't happen.
Oh my god, if you could just let me finish. Yes, it sells. I don't post a video of it because it takes a couple of weeks. I have to set up a different separate bank tune just for the items for that one farm, and then hold off on releasing that video for an entire month or two until the results come in. Really though, where are you getting this really negative impression of gold making?
All I'm saying, mate, is Asmongold did a video on how bad transmog is.
I don't have anything against him personally. He and a handful of other streamers out there are just pretty much like Donald Trump. Like they're tools. They're ignorant douchebags that use popularity gained from one area of expertise to spread uninformed misinformation about other areas. Now, other than that though, Dave, if you could just take my side every once in a while, you'd be a lot more interesting of a straw man character than the two-dimensional Harvest Golem you currently are.
Oh, I'll do my best, sweetheart, but it still sounds like you're just a little butthurt.
Great, but let me just give you an example. A guy did a video on a transmog farm in Stone Talon Mountains and claimed 120,000 gold per hour. So I did a response video giving him credit where I went through point by point and analyzed his route, talked about how to properly set up the add-on he was using, and went into how to accurately price the items you receive based on your server and your preferences. After that vid got popular, Asmongold made one without giving either of us credit, and after 5 minutes of farming, went to the auction house.
Oi, he only farmed for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know, right? It might have been 15 minutes. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But you gotta farm for
Takes
longer
at least
than
an hour to get good results.
Right. So he goes to his auction house and says that this one item that's worth 10,000 gold is only up on his auction house for 50 gold. So the whole farm is worth.
Wait. But couldn't he have just bought that item for 50 gold and reposted it for 10k?
That's what I'm trying to say, Dave. Yes. You know more about gold making than a random streamer does. And if you want to get better at this or anything, you need to talk to people and learn from people who know more than you do. Now, personally, I've still got a lot to learn, but I popularized the Zul'Farrak farm and AQ20, the Bastion of Twilight Cloth farm, the Legion Shuffle, the Murloc Cave. So, like, just trust me on this. Now, are there any other common misconceptions our viewers might have that you want to suggest? No? All right. Let's go. So, all that said, here's the daily routine I do for gold making, regardless of what the fashionable gold making strat is that week. I log into a max level toon with max level professions. I open my profession window, click one button, and make a list of everything profitable. Next, I go to my bank and auction house and I hit one button to gather up all the materials needed to craft that stuff. Then I hit one button and just craft everything. Then I go to the auction house, scroll my mouse wheel, and everything posts for the best possible price, automatically undercutting or overcutting as I prefer. And that's it. That's how you get gold capped. That's how you make 100,000 gold a day and buy the Swift Spectral Tiger and that stupid chicken mount. Almost every other gold making method out there is included in these 5 steps. Now, I also do a reset scan and a sniper scan, but I'll talk about those later after I show you how to set up TSM the basic way. So, let's set up Tradeskillmaster so you can do this too.
Oi, I've heard of TSM and it's bloody confusing, that is, isn't it?
Well, 2 of the things I don't like about TSM are that it's really ugly and it's obviously made by computer programmers. But its whole goal is to automate the entire gold making process as much as Blizzard will allow. It's specifically designed to be as easy to use as possible. It takes a little bit of setting up to mimic and automate how you personally sell stuff.
Sounds like a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo stuff and nonsense to me.
Dave, if we're gonna do this thing, I really need you to pick an accent, okay? Just follow along with this example and we'll try to figure out what your personal mindset is for making gold. Imagine you go to the auction house to sell your wares and you aren't using any add-ons whatsoever. You aren't going to sell every BOE item in your bag, so what are you going to sell? Well, that depends on, one, how ham you want to go with gold making, but for starters, let's just say you want to sell all your crafted items. Okay, So for instance, you're a jewel crafter and have, let's say, one quick dawn light to sell, which cost you 1,000 gold to make. They normally run for 2,000 gold on your server, so you'd obviously post it up in stacks of 1 rather than stacks of 20, and let's say maybe you'd post 10 at a time. But what about price? Would you ever sell this rare gem for 1 silver? No, that's dumb. First off, you'd never sell anything in the entire game for less than the vendor price. And the minimum you'd sell a crafted item for would be at least a little bit more than the crafting cost. But what if there aren't any up? You want it to sell quickly, but also you got a little monopoly, so maybe a little more than the normal market price? Hey there, guys. Editor Reckles here, and I just needed to take a quick second because I realized I never actually explained what the heck we're talking about here, why it matters. Some of you may be confused by things like DB market and DB region market average, like what those are. So just high level, this way of thinking about how you sell things, that in Tradeskillmaster is called an operation. And every possible thing you can sell, you can group these in. You can group them into different groups and subgroups, and then you apply a single operation. You can apply it to multiple different groups to save time and be efficient. Now, the DB market and DB region market average, those are called those are name tags for pricing sources, or as we say in the biz, tags and sources. So you use the pricing sources to explain how you sell things, and pretty much like if a friend comes up to you and he has a 925 socketed BOE that he just got that he's super excited about, and he asks you, hey, how much is this worth? The pricing source explains how you determine the answer. So, like, if for a 925 socketed BOE, there aren't going to be any up on your auction house, so you go to a website and you look at how much things like it are selling for on all different servers, then that would be a global pricing source rather than a local one that's just your auction house. However, if your friend, rather than being a pro mythic raider, is just a noob and he says, hey, I just got mining and I leveled it up and I got a full stack of fell slate, and he's super excited and wants to know how much it's worth. Do you say, well, you know what, I've been following the market for the past 2 months, and there's one guy who always trolls and posts his fell slate for 1,000,000 gold, but ignoring him, you can generally sell your fell slate for about, you'll normally see it for about 50 gold. Then that is a 2-month weighted local average. And specifically, it's a median, but like we're fine with a mean or a median for this. So that is called, in Tradeskillmaster, it's DB historical. Now, if a market's maybe tanking a little bit and you don't want to look back to all 2 months, you just want to look back 2 weeks, then that is DB market. That's the most common one you'll see out there. But if instead of that, you just look at your friend and you're like, hey, Tom, how did you go to the auction house? How much is the cheapest one? And he says 23 gold. And you're like, well, then it's 23 gold. Stop bothering me, Tom. Ba-ba-da-ba. Then that is DB min buyout. So here's the thing. All of these are correct. The local and the global and DB min buyout and DB market and DB historical, and there are a bunch of others. They're all correct, but it's like, this is why you need Tradeskillmaster, because sometimes you want to use a more reliable 2-month-long pricing source, and other times markets are fluctuating, so you want to use only a 2-week source, and then other times you're buying something off the auction house and you want to know the price for it right now. So that would be min buyout. So anyway, what I want you to do, I want you to go into WoW and I want you to craft something and pay attention Like, write down in the comments, craft something, tell me what you crafted and how much it's worth. And then I want like an explanation for why it's worth that. Like, did you craft something and it's worth 150 gold because that's literally how much it's up for on the auction house right now? Or is that how much you sold your last one for? Or is that how much it normally is? It's normally the cheapest on the auction house, not how much it normally sells for, but that's normally what the price is. Or did you look at a bunch of different servers? Go into depth and tell me. I want to know. So I know this is a long aside, but I didn't want anyone to get confused with any of the higher level stuff or the terms before we started getting into the very specific do this, then do this, then do this. So let's go on with the guide. What if someone had one up but posted it up for 100,000 gold? Would you undercut that person? No, that's just silly. That guy's just not gonna sell anything. It's way too high. But what if the cheapest was 10,000 gold? 8,000? For sure 4K. But maybe 5,000 too, or 6,000, depending on your market, how greedy you are, lots of things. So what TSM does is just automate that entire process we just went over for every single item. You can post 10 million gold worth of stuff in 10 minutes, but you gotta tell it how you think first. The gem would go in a group, maybe called Legion Jewel Crafting Gems, and the thought process behind selling it is called an operation. So then you just link that operation to that group and you're good to go. You're done. So let's go back through our routine and set this up. Okay, Dave, pay attention now. We're actually starting the setup portion of the guide.
All right. What if you talk too fast, though?
Well, Dave, feel free to pause the video as we go along. Alright, first, before you log in, make sure WoW's closed and go download the core Tradeskillmaster add-ons from Curse and download any additional modules, the ones made by Sapu94. He's the developer. Now, this gives you the program and the framework, but it doesn't automatically give you the actual auction house data, the pricing. So you can get the prices from your server in-game by manually scanning the auction house, but I highly recommend going to Tradeskillmaster.com and downloading the TSM Desktop App. This automatically gives you calculated current prices for every single item in the game live while you play without needing to go to the auction house. Trust me, download this now. Next, we're going to set up our groups.
Oi! Hold on a minute.
That's fine, Dave. Pause if you need to. That's fine. So, next, we're going to set up our groups, all the crafted items and looted materials that we actually want to sell. Press K to open your professions, then click on the profession you want to make gold with.
Ain't nothing changed, you wanker.
Your accent is just awful, Dave. If you're still seeing the default Tradeskillmaster window, there's a little TSM in the top left corner. Go ahead and click that. Now, click TSM Groups and create profession groups. This automatically puts everything you can craft and all the materials used to craft those items in their own little groups and subgroups. Next, we're gonna fiddle with this because honestly, you don't want to sell everything the same way. I might craft and post 3 of the Legion leatherworking bracers, but I'm not gonna make 3 Nightbane Carapace chess pieces from Trial of the Crusader. So let's make a current content subgroup and another for anything you want to sell in stacks of 20 or 50. Type in /TSM to open the admin window, click on the Mana Crystals group section, and then click on the plus icon next to the green groups. Keep dropping down until you see crafts, click it, go to the management tab, and in the new subgroup name, create one called current content. With this new current content subgroup selected, click on the item tab in the center. Make sure ignore random enchants on ungrouped items is turned off. This would put blank of the firefall in a different group from blank of the windburst.
Hurry it up, mate. Murder She Wrote's on at 7.
What? That show hasn't... We're gonna add whatever items we want to be selling in stacks of 1 to this new group by either clicking them directly in the list or just typing in the filter. Before you click add, make sure to scan through these. I almost always find something I forgot about or messed up on. Anyway, if it's all correct, click add and repeat this process, but do it for anything you want to be selling in multiples. I like stacks of 20 because it's a good middle ground that doesn't annoy buyers. You can call it alchemy stack or blacksmith multiples, whatever you want. There's also a faster way to make groups, and that's by importing everything. We'll do this for our overarching transmog group. Make sure you do this, though, after you set up your profession groups, in case some of the items in this are crafted. Select groups and make a new subgroup called transmog. Select it and go to the Import-Export tab. I have a paste bin down in the description of about 3,000 different items. It's almost everything I'd consider worthwhile transmog. If it's missing anything, let me know in the comments below, but you can always manually add to this as you play. You can also do this import thing for recipes and mounts and pets, and I also like to have one regular group for miscellaneous because sometimes I just don't care and you just want to post stuff up right now without having to worry about categorizing it. All right. All these items are separated into their own group. Now we have to tell TSM what to do with these groups.
Hold on, mate. There's a road train outside. I can't hear you.
All right, Dave. Well, feel free to pause the video here, and whenever your road train has passed, we'll move on to crafting operations. All right, the crafting operation is going to put everything profitable into the crafting queue. So it just needs to know your The crafting operation is going to put everything profitable into your crafting queue. So it just needs to know your threshold and how many you want to make. For most of the items in your spellbook, you only want to make 1, and Alright, the crafting operation is going to put everything profitable that you can make into a list, into a crafting queue. So it just needs to know a threshold and how many of these items you want to make. Go to the Nuts and Bolts Operation main tab and the sub-tab Crafting to set these up. For most of the items in your spellbook, you probably only want to make 1, and we determined a nice catch-all breakpoint earlier with our jewel crafting scenario. So, just apply this new operation to the main profession group by clicking the mana crystal, clicking professions, and going to the operations sub-tab, and that's it! You're done! You never have to worry about what's profitable ever again. But, for glyphs, I want to make sure that I always have 2 up at a time and not just 1. So, make a second operation and call it profitable times 2. Repeat this for things that you want to make 20 of or 100 of at a time. Profitable times 20, profitable times 100.
Oi, I'm gonna just name this group Glyphs.
No. Don't name these after the profession or the item because you can just apply the same operation to different professions, different groups. In fact, that's the whole point of TSM in this automation. There's no reason to have 10 different operations that do the same thing. And honestly, that's why we're not using gold values or setting things up into tiers of 100 gold or 1,000 gold or 5,000 gold. Because this operation sells everything for what they should normally sell for.
Hold on, mate. I need to fix me some toast and Marmaduke.
Wait, what? Don't you mean Marmite? I'm just gonna keep going, but if you need to pause for whatever reason, feel free, Dave. Next, let's make a shopping operation for flipping. You know those times that a noob sells a piece of glorious gear for 3 gold. Just like crafting, it just needs a threshold. So let's go with a fairly reliable source, DB Market. This is just the 2-week weighted average of the prices on your realm. You can use a global source if you'd prefer. That's one that prices according to all servers. The go-to there right now is DB Region Market Average, but experiment around to see which one most reliably prices things according to your server. To see everything available, type in /TSM space sources, and you'll get a nice list in your chat window. So let's set the threshold for buying stuff at 10%. The goal of this, if you're just starting off, is to never lose money on this flipping stuff. And with 10%, you may not see a whole bunch of items, but you'll double your money even if you repost for an entire month and end up selling it for only 50% of its normal price. You're still gonna make a ton of gold. You don't want to worry about your flips. So make sure all these operations are assigned, and let's go.
Oi, one sec, mate. Eating some more marmalade.
Okay, wait, we already made a Marmite joke, and marmalade is actually a thing. Like, that's something people like. Queuing everything you need to craft, all the profitable stuff, is super simple. Just select the group you want to craft and click restock. You'll see the approximate price of all the materials you don't have that you can buy off the auction house and from vendors, and you can see the potential profit along with all the items that you need to make that. Now, we're gonna go get all the materials we don't have. So click gather, click start gathering, and it'll show you what you need to finish everything in your crafting queue and where it is. Pay attention to these options though, because for things like herbs, I only really care about herbs in stacks of 5, so you might want to click that. If you need things from a vendor, go to that vendor and click gather. After we gather from the bank, the mailbox, and the vendors, we go back to the auction house and click buy items. It'll move on to the next in the list once you have enough of that material. If those items need to be disenchanted, the TSM destroy window will pop up and let you do that. Now, as a quick side note, this is all just a simple setup, despite being a long video. I'm assuming you don't have multiple accounts and 10 max level tunes and 2 dedicated posting tunes, each with their own max professions and inventory and guild banks. Now, if you do have a lot of alts, you can imagine why a lot of people recommend personal guild banks. It just makes sharing materials back and forth across multiple tunes so much simpler. Alright, so we've set up groups, we've established what will make money, and we've crafted it all. Let's sell it now. First thing we're gonna do is set up the ability to just scroll our mouse wheel to post. Type /TSM to open the main window, and on the first page, go to the Macro Setup tab. At the bottom of the page, there's a Create Macro and Bind Scroll Wheel button. When you click it, Control plus Scroll now automatically posts items, crafts everything, cancels all your auctions, buys out everything, and vendors everything. Adjust this to your preferences. And finally, we're gonna set up auctioning operations so you could start making money. First, we'll make one for singles. I like to name these by the source tag that I use and the amount, so I know what they do. We'll call it DB Global Singles. In the general sub-tab, go ahead and ignore low duration auctions with less than 30 minutes on them. In the post sub-tab, let's set a stack size of 1 and a post cap of 2. That's the maximum we'd ever want up at a time. Down in the posting price settings, there's a neat little trick. The standard auction house UI sorts by bid, not post price. And the bid percent on a lot of add-ons is automatically 95%. So if you do 94%, you'll show up cheaper in the standard UI, even if someone undercuts you by a couple silver. Now, always undercut by 1 copper. Buyers don't care how much you undercut. They just want to buy the cheapest. Seriously, if you undercut by more, you are the reason markets tank. You are the reason why your server has a messed up economy. All right. We already established the prices we'll put in here. The lowest you'll go depends on the vendor price, crafting price, and for non-craftables, the market price. You can go ahead and adjust these percentages as you see fit. You can do a lot more with pricing too. The maximum and normal only depend on the market price, really. So for things like transmog or old world crafted stuff, you can use the global price. And for current content stuff, I recommend creating a second operation that uses local sources and a third that posts in stack sizes of 20 with an appropriate post cap. Click Allow Partial Stack on the multiples operations. To make these additional operations, you can do everything over again manually if you want, or you can select the original operation, go to the Management subtab, type in a new name, and click Duplicate Operation. For the win below minimum and win below maximum, I always post at normal price just to get things out of my posting tunes bag, but that's up to you. If you don't sell a lot of stuff, you might not want to do that. Pay attention to how you auction. Apply these to your groups as you see fit by going back to the mana crystal, selecting the group, and applying the auctioning operation from the drop downs. And you're done! You are completely set up. Congratulations. Thank you for listening. But there are a few little bonus tips. Craftable items that use soulbound materials like the Blood of Sargeras, they need a custom reference for that material. Otherwise, Blood of Sargeras items won't show up in the crafting queue when you click restock because it doesn't know how much to value that at. So, to set a custom value for Blood of Sargeras or any other soulbound stuff, go and set it equal to whatever you can buy with it or craft with it. For this, we're going to use the Blood of Sargeras vendor items. Click the crafting screws, then the materials, then Blood of Sargeras, and enter this atrocious string of nonsense. Occasionally, this string will mess up because some jerk resets the bear meat market and tries to get 100,000 gold each from bear meat, but otherwise it works fine. Alright, next tip. If you're using a posting alt, you can create a mailing operation for your crafted items and assign that to the subgroups you'd automatically want to mail off to them. If you have a personal guild vault, I'd recommend spending a day and taking all of the items from each individual profession subgroup, all the material items, and putting that into a separate higher level material group that is also separated by profession and usage. This way, you can easily assign warehousing operations that the TSM Bank UI can use to just deposit all without second guessing it. But it takes a while, and you need to go through pretty much item by item to make sure you don't put like a flask of stone. There are lots of items that are used in blacksmithing that are actually like alchemy craftables and things like that. So, you want to set this up and go through it line by line. Next tip, you can also create additional shopping operations for flippable pets and flippable mounts, but you need to adjust the buyout percentage, how much you're willing to pay based on your own comfort level. And my last tip may be a little controversial, but delete the whole thing once every 6 months and start over. As you start working with the auction house, you'll figure out how you want to play this kind of separate game, and you'll make a whole lot of mistakes along the way in your setup, and that's fine. Like, starting over once every 6 months as you're learning, maybe once every year, allows you to really optimize for your favorite markets and streamline everything once you start to learn TSM a little better. So, finally, I have 6 steps for you to follow, even if you're brand new, so you can get to gold making and get making 30,000 to 100,000 gold per day per tune. Step 1. Get a character to max level and max professions. Don't worry about gold making until then. It's just so much easier when you're max level. Step 2. Download and set up TSM. Rewatch this video and follow along. I'll put timestamps in the description for each section. Step 3. Do a daily sniper scan. Technically, this is just a shopping scan because sniping involves only scanning the most recent items and buying something majorly underpriced 5 seconds after it gets posted. That's a different thing that involves camping the AH. That's not what we're talking about. For this, just go to your auction house, click on the shopping tab, and scan your transmog group, along with any other flippable pet or mount markets. There will be a ton of super low price stuff that you can repost for hire and earn almost pure profit. If you get any amazing deals, make sure to send them to me on Twitter. I love hearing those. Those make my day. There's a link in the description to an amazing guide by Sterling if you want to read up more on how to set up these sniper groups. He uses a different group setup though, so don't try to implement both. Honestly, the same goes for any guide or group or import list written by Fat Loots or Zionic and Shira or the Gold Queen. They all work the same and do the same basic thing, but they'll conflict with each other. So, step 4, rinse and repeat until you have 1 million gold worth of product posted up on the auction house. You'll be selling anywhere between 10,000 and 100,000 gold a day, and a lot of that is going to be profit.
Oi! I told you I don't have time to spend all day on the auction house. This is nonsense. I just want to play the game.
Hi, Dave. Are you Scottish now? Look, I know we've had our differences, but that's the point of all this. Using this basic setup, it only takes me like 10 minutes to post 2,000 items.
Reckles, I don't want to do that. I don't want to post 2,000 items.
And that's fine. If you just want to post current content stuff from one profession, that's okay. If it takes me 10 minutes to post 2,000 stuff and you only have 20 items, it'll only take you seconds. You'll never spend more than a minute in Orgrimmar or Stormwind. And that's step 5. This is the most important. Evaluate. You're fine here. You're making enough gold to buy anything you want, and you're only spending a couple seconds, a couple minutes a day on gold making. But if you want to be mega rich and buy chicken mounts for all your friends, go back to step 1 and add on another toon or another profession and do this each week. Add on another toon or another market until it starts to feel like work. 10 minutes a day for 10,000 to 100,000 gold is fine for pretty much everyone. But multiply that by 10 toons and pretty quickly you're reposting 4,000 items twice a day, and even though you have a few 500,000 gold days, it can feel like a job. The whole point of this channel is not to give you a second job, but to make gold making as quick and efficient as possible. So it's not a job, so you can get out there without the burden of being broke and just have fun in WoW however you see fit. And step 6 is keep setting goals. If you have 1 million gold worth of stuff posted up on the auction house at any one time, and you still want to do more, shoot for 10 million, see if you can do it. Then have 100 million up on the auction house. If you can get there, then I will bow down to you as the ultimate gold maker and invite you on the show to interview you. So, that's it. Thank you so much for watching so far. I really hope you liked it. And coincidentally, if you did, YouTube has implemented a way for you to show me that you liked it. So go ahead, click that like button, subscribe. And if you want to be notified of whenever I stream, there's a little bell next to the subscribe button. Go ahead and click that. But thank you for watching. I will talk to you guys later.
Oi!